Welcome, everyone, to episode 52 of the Golden Squeeze podcast, the Ray Lewis episode. We had a little bit of a break. That's my fault. I got a little sick, under the weather, but I am back at it. Still sick, but I am braving through it so we can talk to you, our three loyal viewers, about what's going on in the WWE. Also, I am wearing this Mariners hoodie. I am not a Mariner fan. I just want to make sure that we all understand that. My son is on the Mariners for Little League, and I am his coach. And we just had a game, so that is why I am wearing this. I don't want anyone thinking that I'm not loyal to the Baltimore Orioles. And I'm also wearing these red headphones because my other ones are not working. But that is neither here nor there. Let's start today's episode off talking about the women's title picture, Tiffany versus Charlotte. They had a promo that everybody is talking about that apparently went off schedule. And there were some things that were said by both women that I think the company is not too happy about. And I think they both...
Oh, stop it. You know the company loves it. Look what it did.
There's no
such thing as bad publicity.
You know, you got to take the dirt sheets with a grain of salt, but it looks like they're not happy about the way that they were making each other look, and I can understand it from that perspective. They said some things that you shouldn't say.
Look at the way Charlotte was making Tiffy look in the segments beforehand. I didn't necessarily think that was necessary. It was like, I don't know if it was as bad as John Cena with Austin Theory, but, you know, still, she was taking the young girl to school, and I think there's a time and place for stuff like that, and I don't think in the build to WrestleMania that was the time and place for it.
Tiffany's
just the way I don't think it was with Cena and Austin Theory. I didn't think that was the right setting for all that either.
Tiffany's comment was completely out of line, and I like Tiffy, but her saying that Charlotte's 0-3 in marriages, that's unnecessary. That's.
Do you remember what Paige said to Charlotte about her brother?
That doesn't mean, just because people say mean things to Charlotte doesn't mean that just because it happened then doesn't mean it should happen now.
Okay, well, if we're going to compare comments towards Charlotte, that was...
So Charlotte was recently on a show, on a talk show. I don't remember who it was. We'll say it was the Kelly Clarkson show, I think. And she was getting real emotional about her feeling like she's a failure because of her failed marriages and how she didn't want to come. She didn't want to... part of why she didn't come back as quickly is because she was still healing emotionally from getting divorced from Andrade, and she was embarrassed, and she just felt like she was alone and that she was never going to be able to sustain a marriage. And that was like a couple days before this promo on SmackDown. So if it was, I'm going to go ahead and say that it was a shoot interview on Kelly Clarkson, and it might not have been Kelly Clarkson, but it could have been Jennifer Hudson. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of those talk shows.
Yeah, they're so similar.
Jay Hud and Kelly Clarkson, pretty much twins. Let's not forget that Jennifer Hudson has ties to the WWE community, so it could have been her. She was married to David Otunga.
Are they no longer married?
No, they've been divorced for quite a while, I believe. But I think it was Kelly Clarkson. But anyways, so she was just opening up about how she's very insecure about her failed marriages. And for her to say that, it just seems really low. And then for Charlotte just to come back with just one of the worst lies you'll ever hear in your entire life about Kaiser being in her DMs. Like that just never happened, Charlotte. Like, no one believes you. I don't even know why you would say such a lie. Like, that's crazy.
Oh, Kaiser had a great response with the vintage Shawn Michaels clip. That was good.
Yes. That was funny. And one of the few times where we believe you, Kaiser, but no one's believing that you cheated on that you're in Charlotte's DMs when you're dating Tiffany Stratton. Nobody believes that, even though I love Charlotte. So even I don't believe that. But you can sell tickets and you can bring heat without having to stoop to these type of tactics. I just think it's low. What say you?
I'm just torn as to whether or not it was really off script. because the build to this has been lackluster at best. As much, and you know that I've been looking forward to this match ever since I said months and months ago that I thought this is what it was leading up to. We got it, and I think they had very simple, tried and true ways to easily make this work and build it. And I think they failed miserably. And so I'm not convinced that they tried to bring real life stuff in it to get people talking, generate more interest in one of their high profile matches that they thought would already have more interest in it than it does. And so yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if you've seen this, but I know some of the columnist, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, on Bleacher Report seem to think that it's a lock that Charlotte Flair is winning this match, and I think that would be a colossal mistake just simply based on the crowd reactions to her currently.
When have the crowd reactions ever been positive for Charlotte? And she's a 16-time or however many time champion. The crowd's no different now than it has been her entire career.
There have been times where it hasn't been as bad, but that's fair. I guess that's fair. But I think the crowd loves Tiffy, and I think certainly they're not going to have her lose. Are they? Are
Can
they?
you imagine the boos?
Yes, I can.
And what does the company want? They want cheers or they want boos. And there's going to be so many boos when Charlotte wins. The question is it the type of boos that you want? People are always going to hate Charlotte. She's probably the most divisive wrestler that they have in their company. People love to hate her. I love to love her. I think this is going to be an awful match. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Charlotte's shown me nothing to believe that she is fully healed from her injury. I said it when she was in the Rumble, when she was just chopping away and doing nothing else, that she's not ready. And has she had a match since the Rumble?
Yes.
How many? One?
I think two at least.
Two?
Okay. I know for sure one, maybe two. I think
she's had a limited moveset in what she's done, and she has not unleashed what she's fully capable of, because I think that she's still concerned about her body.
I think regardless of everything that's going on, whether this feud that has turned personal is happened because of people going off script or whether it's part of the plan, I think at the end of the day, regardless if it's true animosity, they will be professionals and try to put on a fantastic show, which I have high hopes for this match. I still do. The lackluster build aside, it has had its good moments. I really enjoyed the brawl that they had with each other a few weeks ago on SmackDown, where they kept having to separate them. I did enjoy that. I just want to believe it's going to be a good match, and I really, really hope it is. But
here's one thing I'll say to you when you ask me if they're not really going to have Charlotte win. Remember how we got here. Charlotte had no business winning the Royal Rumble, and in my predictions, I said Charlotte's going to win because it's Charlotte, and she won.
Well, it was either going to be the Royal or the Chamber. We knew it was going to be her versus Tiffy.
Right, but it shouldn't have been either.
But we knew it was going to be one of them.
Well, then you need to know she's going to win. You need to start accepting it now. It's not going to be Gunther, Sami Zayn bad, but she's going to win this match.
I hope not. No, certainly they're not going to. No.
Okay. Guess what? It's 50-50 now. She's in the match, which means that she's either going to win or she's going to lose. So, we'll see what happens. We're nowhere near prediction time yet. No. When is the Rumble? 2 weeks? I mean, when is not Rumble? When is WrestleMania? 2 weeks?
No, it's a week from. It's a week from the Hall of Fame's a week from tomorrow.
Okay,
it's next week, next weekend.
Okay, well,
yeah, it's Easter this year.
Yeah, well, man, they're putting on the holy day.
Hey, and I think we've talked about this before. I can't remember on here or privately. I saw where somebody put something on, like when they announced when it was going to be this year. They said on the same weekend as the greatest babyface comeback in the history of mankind.
That's good. That's good.
But so yeah, Easter Sunday.
Well, yeah, I want. I actually probably want Charlotte to win, but I'd prefer Tiffany. I think Tiffany should win, and I just like Charlotte. That's why I would want Charlotte to win, but Tiffany should win, in my opinion. I think that Tiffany should win. I think it would be bad for the company to have Tiffany lose. But if Tiffany is going to lose, just please don't bury her. Just please let her stay in the title picture. Don't just have her then fall by the wayside, which they have a knack for doing if it's not Becky or Charlotte in the women's division. You get your chance, and then you lose, and then we don't really hear much from you after that. So I just don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't think it will with Tiffy because she's so popular. I don't think the fans will let it happen, but you never know. You never know. You never know. But let's talk about the men now. Let's talk about Chick Magnet Punk, the Wise Man, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. This is interesting. So they finally revealed. Let's just take a step back. Punk's going to get his main event. He's earned it. Not necessarily with this run, but with his body of work with the company. I know we all knew it was going to happen. We all knew that he was going to get the main event. We all knew he's been very vocal about what? Yeah, he's been very vocal since he came. Well, he was very vocal when he wasn't with the company. That was one of his issues with leaving the company, is that he felt that he needed to be the main event. He didn't think that him fighting the Undertaker in that one WrestleMania, he didn't feel as if that was the main event. He views the main event as being the last match of the night, which is fine. And I agree with his definition of the main event. Yes, I also understand the WWE's point of view, but I also know they were just saying that to try to appease them. We all know the main event is the last thing. Yes, The Undertaker was the attraction for WrestleMania for 15 years. I'm not going to say the first few of them were the Undertaker, but once we actually started recognizing the streak, he was a huge part of WrestleMania. And one could argue that getting his match was the most important match, but it wasn't the main event. The most important match and the main event aren't always going to be the same thing. And he never got that main event. He's getting it, and presumably the wise man, Paul Heyman, is going to be walking him down to the ring instead of Roman Reigns. You know, from a promise perspective, I don't like it. I don't like it. Who cares? I thought that your hypothesis of saying that him getting the main event was the promise. That's meaningful.
Yes.
Having Paul Heyman walk him down to the ring, Paul, I love you. I think that you're the best manager. I think that you're number one. I'm putting Bobby the Brain Heenan number two. I'm putting you number one based off of your body of work. And that's saying a lot because the brain's awesome. But it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's not worth making into a storyline. Now, I get it. He's not coming down with Roman. But CM Punk's the OG. That's the original Paul Heyman guy. You know, I wouldn't expect any less. So it didn't hit the way I wanted it to hit. I think that your idea would have been better.
Did you see Raw this past Monday?
Most of it.
Did you see the part with Heyman?
Yes.
In the context of that wrinkle now, when Seth Rollins said, "Now you owe me a favor," I like it a little bit more because now it adds some more intrigue. Like, okay, because when I first saw this and just looking at it, like, okay, are they going to have Roman take it? Are they going to have Punk win the main event? Or are they going to reward Seth with his help that they went on record as saying he was the MVP of WrestleMania last year with what he did in the build and wrestling.
We had one leg.
Yeah. And so with that wrinkle added into it, because I was already thinking I could see them letting him get a win, especially in a triple threat format where there's no rules. And what I mean by that is do it in a way where it doesn't make any of the other two look weak or anything. But now with that added into it, I'm going to go ahead and pick Seth Rollins to win that match.
Seth Rollins.
I think, and I text you when you showed me what the favor was because I hadn't seen the segment yet. I immediately responded with the gobbledygooker coming out of the egg.
Yeah.
But now with this one, with him not stomping Paul Heyman and saying, "You owe me a favor. Now you owe me a favor," I was like, okay, I like that. I do like that. It builds more intrigue around the match, and instead of people guessing between is it going to be Punk or Reigns walking away with the win, now it's like, okay, well, with that wrinkle, if Paul Heyman does repay the fact that Seth didn't do the stomp on him, are they going to have it where Heyman helps Rollins win?
So for the three of you who watch, there's been a trend of who I pick to win certain things, the Royal Rumble, the Elimination Chamber, things like that. I picked CM Punk for everything, so I'm not going to stop now. CM Punk's winning that match because for the sole reason he's got to win something, right? He's got to win something eventually. He doesn't win. He's got to win.
He's won.
He hasn't won 2025 a big match. He won it. What did he win in 2025 as a big match? 25.
I know. The main event of the Netflix debut. He beat Seth Rollins clean in the ring.
I'm talking about Raw.
Well, that was a big moment for they debut on the Netflix platform. I think
Fine.
That was a big deal. And
fine. Not as big as Chamber, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. I need something with teeth to it.
I know, but I think assuming he's healthy, because we know he's going to be popular still. Assuming he's healthy this time next year, he is going to main event again in a singles match.
I hope so, but I want him to win when he does it.
Yeah.
I want to see him get that win.
I do too, but he himself has even said, even when he first left the company, that when he was lobbying to be part of the second John Cena Rock match, he even said, "Hey, do a triple threat elimination match. Have me eliminated first." He's like, "I just want to be in the main event." He's like, "I think I've earned that." And that was one of his big things. But I think the fact he's in there will, I think he will be content with that. Now, a lot of the fans won't be, but I'd have no issues with them letting Rollins win in a match like that at all. I wouldn't.
Neither would I. I like Seth a lot. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't really care who wins. I'm fine with any outcome. I'm fine with Roman winning. I'm fine with Seth winning. I'm fine with CM Punk winning. I just want to see a good match. But I don't know if you saw on social media, the WWE had put something out about Roman Reigns main eventing his 11th WrestleMania match. But it's only going to be his 10th unless somehow he sneaks into the other night. So be on the lookout for potentially Roman Reigns finding his way into night 2.
What do you mean? Wait, hey, we can do this. Let's work through this. Let's get him.
Okay, let me get the list of main events.
I can spout off a few of them right here.
Well, we got last year he had 2.
One before with Cody. There's 3 right there.
Yeah.
Undertaker.
Yeah. Brock.
Brock's been multiple times, hasn't it?
AI just is making up matches that Roman Reigns main events. Apparently, WrestleMania 35, it was Reigns versus Sasha Banks. Like, what? What is AI doing? Well, come on, AI. You could be better. All right. Here we go. All right. So we've got WrestleMania 32, Roman Reigns versus Triple H.
Oh, yeah.
We've got WrestleMania 33, Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. WrestleMania 30. What? Did he? Okay. They don't make this as easy as they should because some of these just aren't right. Let me find where I saw this.
That's right. No, 32 is where it started, I think.
Right. But then it was about to go on and because 31 it was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns where Seth Rollins interfered.
Yep, that is right.
So that's why this is completely wrong. All right, I'm just going to go to WrestleMania and then just go to the cards. All right.
All right, so we've got that one.
All right, so WrestleMania 31, WrestleMania 32, WrestleMania 33, which was um, WrestleMania 33 was Reigns versus The Undertaker. WrestleMania 34, which was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. WrestleMania 37, which was Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan in a triple threat. 38 was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. 39 was Roman Reigns versus Cody. And then last year, nights 1 and 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We're missing one. Did you say WrestleMania 39?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
31, 32, 33, 34. And then 37, 38, 39. And then night 1 of and 2 of 40. And now 41. 41 will be 10. But they put something out saying this is 11. And that's only 10.
No, we're missing something.
I'm on Wikipedia. It's got Roman Reigns' number of main events, 10, and that includes 41, which is this year.
But what did they put out?
They put 11. They said this year will be 11, and the only way for this year to be 11 is if he's night 2 as well.
That ain't happening.
There's no reason why it can't.
It's not going to.
They took it down. But,
probably because it was wrong.
Probably because it was wrong. But you never know. You never know. Think of Roman versus Cena versus Cody. Think of it.
Oh, yeah.
That would be unnecessary, but fun. Completely unnecessary. Wouldn't make any sense, but it'll be fun. But I've digressed on that enough. So I'm picking CM Punk. You're picking Seth Rollins.
Yep.
These are not official predictions. Those will be coming later on next week. But let's talk about the other men's title picture. Jay versus Gunther. It is getting a little heated inside this rivalry. Jay is no longer scared of Gunther, according to Jay. So admitting that he was at some point in time scared of Gunther. Gunther, he's the company trusts that guy, as they should. I told you that I started watching LFG. I haven't gotten to the parts with Gunther yet, but he comes out there and he speaks to him, and I've seen some clips from it. He's out there just Undertaker's just salivating watching Gunther talk. He loves the guy. You can tell that
he's a big fan of his.
Yeah, he's a big fan of his. And speaking of LFG, they've got some talent over there. They've got some kids who look pretty good, but they got one kid, man, he's a heel. He's a prick. And Bubba Ray Dudley hates this kid. His name's BJ Ray. He's like a blonde, muscular white guy who's just got the worst attitude ever. Thinks that he is, his stuff doesn't stink, and just talks so much smack and just disrespectful to Bubba Ray and Undertaker and Booker T. Just, I can't tell if that's him or he's playing a character, which I guess is a good thing that I don't know. But you should watch some clips of this kid. Also, Maxine Dupree, her boyfriend's on the show. He's got talent. He's pretty good. They've got an Olympic gold medalist female wrestler who just naturally gifted. Reminds me a lot of Kurt Angle, except from the women's side of things. They've got this other girl who's got this like the same disease that Andre the Giant had, and her body is just very manly. Like, she's jacked, she's huge, and kind of like China in that sense. But she's got some potential, and they got a couple other people. But the crew they have, they look like they belong. They look a little bit better than some of the NIL people that you see. I know it's a very low bar, but they look more ready than the NIL people. But you should check it out.
Probably some of them. Some of them are, they've had some great hits with the NIL stuff, but then they've had some misses. At least for now, they've had some misses.
Yeah.
And when I say misses, I mean like some of the ones that they were starting to feature on TV and did the vignettes for were not ready.
No. No, not at all.
So is that like an elimination type? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Elimination type show. They go out, they cut promos. It's kind of like Tough Enough in that sense. They cut promos, they wrestle each other, they put on little matches. I think that they do a show before NXT. Like you'll go to Raw or SmackDown and they'll put on like a main event or something.
Right.
Beforehand. They do something like that where they go in front of a live crowd. They have a match before NXT starts, gauge the crowd reaction, and then the coaches vote on who they thought did better inside the match, and you get points for your team based off of that. Actually, I'm not through it yet. It's actually I think it's a points-based show, and then there's a winning team, like Team Undertaker, Team Mickie James. And apparently Mickie James got fired for season 2. I don't know why, but apparently she's not.
What do you mean season 2?
It got renewed for another season. She will not be back.
Got fired? What do you mean?
So there's 4 teams. It's Team Mickie, Team Undertaker.
Well,
So Bubba will be back. Booker T will be back. The Undertaker will be back. She will not be back next year.
But did they say why? Okay. So now you're just making up stories that she got fired.
You're fired. It's my understanding that it's the WWE's decision for her not to come back, not hers. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to lead with that next time.
Well, I love, but she was fired, and you didn't want to accept that. So, but she won't be.
I can tell you, who's probably going to end up coming.
Michelle McCool.
Bingo.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
Or Trish.
I could see like a Bella coming too, like a Nikki Bella. Yeah. They got new contracts. I couldn't see Brie doing it, but I could definitely see Nikki doing it.
Wait, Brie Bella's back under Legend or under WWE contract?
I thought she was, but
I say the making up of stories.
You're fired. Oh, I don't know. I feel like she's back. But at the very least, Nikki's back, so Nikki could do it. But I digress. Let's go back to Jane Gunther. So, they are doing their best to sell this match, which is still likely, I think, going to open night 1. They haven't said it's match placement, have they?
No, but apparently there was something recently where Gunther was asked about main eventing or whatever, and he basically said the match placement doesn't matter to him.
Yeah, but that's a Gunther answer.
Yeah,
and that's what he would say.
And I got to be honest with you, man. Like we touched on earlier about Seth Rollins, and being the MVP and deserving, no issues if he got it, the win, and kudos for him for the main event spot. But I think Gunther is done well in big spots and putting on fantastic matches. I just hope at some point they find a good feud for him that's main event of WrestleMania one of the nights worthy.
Yeah.
But with what's still in the pipeline and stuff for potentially over the next couple of years, at least next year, I just don't know if it's going to happen, because until it happens or until they say it's 100% not going to happen, it's like you have to always pencil in Rock versus Roman until. But you know what I'm saying. Because I guess my point in saying that is because if that happens, you and I both know it is not going anywhere except the main event of night 2.
I could make an argument for it leading off the show, but I'm not going to waste anybody's time with that argument. But I can make it.
You could, but we both know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, it's not.
But think him versus CM Punk would be main event.
Rock?
No. Gunther versus CM Punk.
Do you remember when we posted something on Instagram about Gunther like winning a championship or something, and the comment sections were like, nobody wants to see Gunther win a championship. Yep. So my only concern is that we're in the minority.
Oh no!
And if we're in the minority, he's not going to main event.
I know, man. It's just one of those things, man. I think he's a fantastic wrestler, but I like that old school type of style.
I love it.
And
we're old though.
yes, we are. And but
They
I
call us
think
unks.
yes, instead of the young OG, we're old OGs.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
um,
Exactly.
I think him versus CM Punk is a potential candidate in terms of a good build they could do. Just you got the just yeah that's an easy story that those two could tell. And then
Just keep
same with Cody versus Gunther. Run that back, because when they did that at Crown Jewel, you had the I think the Bret Hart roll up pin or whatever it was to get the win. So they definitely left the door open for that to be revisited down the line. And so there's definitely counterparts that could make that happen, that have the popularity universally to
oh, what is it? It's gotta be Kane.
yeah. It's got to be Kane. But dude, just he's a great wrestler, and
Gunther Undertaker.
I would love that. But just the fact too that how good he is on the microphone. I mean, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. One of the best.
Hold on, let me try to fix this real quick. All right. I don't know if that did anything, but
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that Gunther has the popularity. He definitely has the wrestling skills, and he definitely has the mic skills. I just think he's underappreciated right now. And I don't even know how it's possible. I don't know what people are watching, but he has everything. I don't know what he lacks.
let me ask you this. If a European city gets a WrestleMania, do you think
Yes.
that changes it?
Yes. Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Well, yes. I'm not going to say it as definitively as I just said. I'm gonna give it a yes, but it's not about selling the tickets. It's about okay. I think that Gunther would sell tickets. I don't think that Gunther would sell Peacock subscriptions. So
That's fair.
What does the WWE value more? Do they value selling out tickets? I'd have to assume it would be selling Peacock subscriptions, because WrestleMania is going to sell out. It's just going to sell out. Now, Wembley, 110,000 people, tougher to sell out. But the Brits love their wrestling. They
Yes.
love their wrestling over there.
Yes.
I can't see a WrestleMania being overseas and it not selling out pretty, I don't want to say easily, but they don't need the bells and whistles to sell it out, I don't think.
No.
I could be completely off base. That's why I say maybe, but The Rock's going to have people for at least a month getting a Peacock subscription so they can watch WrestleMania. I mean, they may cancel it afterwards. I think that's the whole business model, is people forget they get it, people forget to cancel, and that's what they bank on. But The Rock can do that. Stone Cold could do that. Who else could do that? Not a lot of guys can do it. John Cena can do it. Cody can't. Roman can. I think Roman can do it. Cody can't do it. Cody needs Roman. I don't think that Cody's a standalone ticket seller.
His merchandise sales and stuff
merchandise, that's not who they're marketing towards. Merchandise are wrestling fans who are buying stuff. They like Cody. My mom's not watching WrestleMania to see Cody Rhodes. She doesn't know who that is. I'm just saying, that's who they're trying to market to. The people who are buying Cody merchandise, they're watching WrestleMania if it's Luke and Butch for the Bushwhackers versus the Nasty Boys. They're still going to watch that because they're wrestling fans. They're going to watch that. They're trying to market towards non-wrestling fans. That's what they want. They take us for granted. They know that we're going to watch that no matter how bad the product is.
And we've proven that.
If we're being honest with each other, we grew up watching Doink the Clown and the Godwins. Like, we didn't stop watching. We watched Jerry the King Lawler and his little people fight Dink. Like, that's what we watched. The wrestling that we watched, everybody had a job. The Repo Man, the Duke the Dumpster Drosy, IRS. Everybody had a job. They were wrestlers, and then Big Boss Man. Everybody had a job.
The Undertaker,
right? Paul Bear. His job is his name.
The Undertaker's is his.
Yeah, They didn't even try to hide these things. Like, we stayed through that, so we're not going anywhere. They take us for granted. So I don't know if Gunther can get there. I hope he can. Maybe Gunther versus John Cena. But the time doesn't align with that ever happening. I don't know who his opponent could. I guess it would have to be Gunther versus Roman. That could do it, and that's a match that could happen. That could do it. Maybe
Gunther Punk could.
Just keep in mind, Punk's getting this main event, but he's with Roman, and I only say that because he's not really elevating anybody in this match. He's got Roman there. Cody's in the main event. He needs John Cena to get in that main event. Like, these guys aren't getting main events. It would don't think that they were ever going to go Seth Rollins. They think that they needed Roman in the CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in order to make it a main event. Because Roman doesn't really need to be there.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Then why aren't we getting Seth versus CM Punk? Why do we need Roman in this?
You don't need him, but you're not going. No,
they think they need him.
No, they don't. It's just they're not going to put Roman anywhere except the main event for WrestleMania.
Why isn't it Roman versus John Cena versus Cody? Why did Roman get put in that match and not that one? Because John Cena's there. They don't need Roman in that match. They need Roman in the other match to make it main event worthy.
For what they did with the heel turn and all that, it wouldn't. They don't need Roman for that.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. They don't need Roman for that match. They need Roman for the other match. I am fully of the mindset that they need Roman in that match.
I don't think so, because last year they already said that was the main event of night one, was Seth versus Punk. So they were confident enough in that to do it at last year's Mania. And
why does Roman have to main event?
Because
you're implying that Roman's only in that match so that Roman can be in the main event. Why does he need to be in the main event?
Because he's Roman Reigns. That's why. Simple. I don't know how else to answer it. Because he's Roman Reigns. He is way too popular. Consistently popular, and and he knows how to put on a main event match, and he's dependable. You can't put him anywhere else on that card.
This is the same company that put Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, where Undertaker loses the streak, in the middle of the card.
Okay, but we can't do that. We can't compare any of the way Vince booked to how it's booked now. There's actually some more logic behind. Oh, dude, hey, don't get me wrong. I agree with some of the stuff. I mean, some of the match placement that they've come up with was extremely, extremely questionable. Like, look at the match placement of one of the greatest matches of all time. What was Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, like number 5 on that card?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I mean, and this is when the streak was really, really, now I think the next year it may have main evented the rematch. Did it
because they knew the Undertaker didn't need to be the main event to still be the attraction. And I just feel like that they could have put Roman in the middle if they really needed to, if they didn't feel like it was a necessity for him to main event, which is what I think that they think. CM Punk isn't a draw.
I disagree.
He is a wrestling fans wrestler. Wrestling fans love CM Punk. I just don't think that your average Tom, Dick, and Harry cares about CM Punk. I could be completely off base about it.
I disagree with that.
Well, guess what? He's getting his first main event, and he needs Roman Reigns to do it. Yeah. So
I know he doesn't need him, but he's there.
Not even Vince thought he could main event. So not even Vince.
But I will say this, to your point. I wish it wasn't a triple threat match. I wish it was either Punk versus Rollins or Punk versus Reigns or
Punk versus Rollins. Roman's not necessary in this match.
But I knew we were not going to get a straight up Punk versus Rollins, barring it being a Hell in a Cell. Once they had their first singles match on the Netflix premiere and kind of took that luster out of it, I was like, okay, well, the only way this is main eventing now, singles match wise, to me, just the more I thought about it, I was like, it has to be some sort of stipulation because they've already done the regular singles match. But I think at some point this year, because obviously it's not happening here, those two are going to be in Hell in a Cell. They've done the singles match. They did the steel cage. Now they're doing this triple threat. I think that feud with those two is worthy of a Hell in a Cell feud.
So you think there's more? They're going to get more juice from the squeeze after this?
One more. Yes.
When would you even have that Hell in a Cell?
Backlash.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see how it ends, I guess.
But who knows? But
what if Roman wins?
A lot can happen. A lot can happen. Because the only kind of wrinkle in that is with Backlash being in St. Louis, you got to think there's a good chance Randy closes that out. And I don't see Hell in a Cell with Rollins and Punk not closing the show.
I mean, just from a logistics standpoint, lowering that cage, it would be an awful, awful advertisements in the middle of the show for the length it takes. If it was, because Randy would, I agree, it's got to be towards the end of the card and put a cell in the middle, and they got to raise it and lower it. That's just that's awkward.
Is Kevin Owens really hurt, or is this, yes, or do we know?
I believe him to be really hurt.
Okay.
He's done too much for the company for them just to take him out of the WrestleMania like that.
But is he really out of it is what I'm asking you.
Oh, yes.
Okay, because see, I don't know. I have not seen, I've just seen bits and pieces of that segment. I have not watched that whole episode yet, so I don't know. I know what I've read, but from what I've read and what I have seen, though, I'm not convinced this isn't a gotcha, and he's going to attack Randy Orton.
Nah, I think it's legit.
Okay.
I think it's legit. Obviously, I could be wrong. We're wrong about most things, but I think it's legit. I think it's a legit injury. To take him out of a match.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you really think he's being taken out of the match?
See, are you saying that he's going to wrestle in a match?
Yes, I'm asking you, do you think it's possible that he actually is going to fight Randy Orton and they're just playing this up and he's going to sneak attack Orton?
I don't think that would be good for subscription buys, because they're having you think that Randy Orton's not going to be in the card, and he's got a big enough fan base where you don't want people thinking that. But I mean, I guess it could, but I think it would be better for it to. He's a big enough star. I mean, Kevin Owens isn't a big star, even though I think he's one of the top 5 entertainers in the company. Nah, I think it's real. I actually hadn't even thought that it was a possibility that it wasn't real until you just brought this up. So I'm not going to have you try to trick me. So no, it's real.
But, and then another thing too, have there been any whispers about Randy Orton's new match? Because certainly they have to have him at WrestleMania.
You think? No, we're a week out. So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. Kevin Owens is hurt.
Okay.
Kevin Owens is hurt. I'm sticking with that. I'm not being tricked in any way.
And another reason that I think that is because Kevin Owens is so good and so convincing at what he does.
Yeah. I hope he's appreciated when he retires. He's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
Yes, for sure.
And if Coco Beware is going to be in the Hall of Fame, then Kevin Owens needs to be there too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's the main title scene. We haven't talked about the other women's title, but
we need to.
Okay.
Who do you think's going to win that match? Just right as it stands right now. I know we've got the go home episode.
Did you see Stephanie McMahon has a new talk show? Also, it was Sherry Shepherd. That's what Charlotte was on, the Sherry Shepherd show. Not
close.
Yeah. Not close to Kelly Clarkson, but close to Jennifer Hudson. Anyways, Stephanie McMahon has a little talk show and had Ripley on it, and she came out doing Ripley's interest wearing her goth attire like Ripley, and it's worth a look.
Stephanie did?
Yes, Stephanie did. It's worth a look. Worth a look-see. Stephanie, in my opinion, aging like a fine wine. But yeah, I'm going to go with Ripley. I'm going to go with not Io. Let me say that. I'm gonna go with not Io.
Dude, the fans love her.
I know.
mean, yes, they love Rhea, but they love Io. And they should. They absolutely should.
You should love all three women. They're all great.
Yes.
I want Bianca to win. I
think
don't
she's
see
going
it.
to.
You think so? I think it's gonna be Ripley. I just don't think it's gonna be Sky. That's I don't know who it's going to be. I just don't think it's gonna be Sky.
I'm glad that Io is going to be in this match, though.
So much. She's gonna elevate it. I don't think she should win though.
Now, this is a triple threat match. I am glad to see this as a triple threat. I am looking more forward to, and I think the Punk Rollins and Reigns will be a great match. Great, the ring psychology stuff, that'll all be there too. But in terms of just from a action standpoint, I am looking more forward to this triple threat match personally, and
it makes more sense.
I'm looking forward to it.
But Io's just there to eat a pin, though, I think.
And the only thing is, man, you know how it usually is. Usually, if WWE keeps throwing something in your face like enough, the old bait and switch, that making you think, oh, she's the afterthought, and but then she keeps getting one. But they're both pushing her aside as an afterthought. So that's kind of got me thinking she's got a chance, or at the very least, she may not eat the pin. So that, and I like this build for it, because I think that one could legitimately go any of the three ways.
Okay.
But because until I started seeing this build for it, and the way with some of the things where they've been pushing Io aside as an afterthought constantly, that just leads me to believe, okay, that's not going to happen. And now, granted, they've had her overcome the odds and, fight back and stand tall. But before the build to this, I would think Bianca's walking away with this.
I am willing to accept that she is in the match to win. And the reason why they can't have it be a one-on-one, because it's not believable that she would beat Bianca or Ripley. And she's inserted into the match so she can steal a pin off of one of them doing their finisher to the other, and then stealing a pin and then getting the win. I can accept that. It's much more believable for her to win a triple threat match than it would be for her to win a singles match. Triple H recognizes that, so that's why he made it a triple threat. I'm willing to accept that.
I think another possibility is Dakota Kai or Asuka cost Io the match.
Man, if they do Asuka and then we're just at the same issue that I have with their black wrestlers, now we're doing with their Asian wrestlers, that's just going to piss me off. Having Asuka be the one to cost the match, like, why does it have to be Asuka? It doesn't need to be.
Because they were teamed together, and I mean, again,
No, I get it, but when you say they were teamed together, that's to me, it's an issue in and of itself. That's the problem. I thought they were going to be Asuka or Kairi Sane. Like, I don't need that. I don't.
Okay, well then have Dakota Kai do it.
I'd rather that. That will make me not as sick.
All right, let's see. In a match that was just announced, that I got to say, I think could potentially be a show stealer for whichever day it's on, is Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano.
Yeah, I don't know who that El Grande Americano is, but he's been putting on some good matches here. Who was Hogan? Who was Hogan?
The Patriot.
The Patriot, yeah.
Wait, was he one of the Patriots? Is that what he was? But you could see the handlebar mustache.
That or the Blue Blazer. Those are with Owen Hart. Who could it be? I have no idea who's under that mask.
Hey, remember last year when Wade Barrett's like, it's Rey Mysterio. I'm like, what? That's not Rey Mysterio. And he's like, oh, it's Dominic. He fooled us all.
Oh man, I have no idea who this masked American is, but
did I say it right? Is it El Grande Americano?
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing out of all that, did you see
a drink, by the way?
Did you see the vignette where he said that he's from the Gulf of America?
It's a real place. Just ask Trump.
Dude, that just reminds me of where was the Ultimate Warrior from? Parts Unknown.
Yeah.
And then from Death Valley, the
back in the day when people weren't actually from the real towns. I miss that. But now that you're right, it could at the very least. El Grande Americano is going to do his job. It's whether or not Rey Mysterio can do his, and I know that's blasphemous saying, but Rey's getting older, so it just is the facts of life. But no, absolutely, Chad Gable's done wonders. He deserves something. Deserves to be rewarded some way, form, or fashion. Give him the IC title or something. But he needs.
I am glad he's getting a Mania match. That's good. Now, dude, if they could do right by the Creed brothers, those guys are way too good. But are we in agreement that they should? The athletic ability of those men, holy cow! Just they are fun to watch, man. I like really, really fun to watch. And I cannot believe they've not been given a run with the tag titles as of yet. But, a lot is to be desired with the way the tag team division is treated for the men, especially on Monday Night Raw. They've got the teams and pieces there on SmackDown. It just needs to be a little bit put together a little bit better, like with some of the stories and some of the fast title changes and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of that. But what else we got on the card?
Well, what was it that I said I wanted to talk about? I've already forgotten. Do you remember?
I do. I'll remember it, and I'll come back to it. Just while we're talking about Mania, I think that will be a good fatal four-way. Dominic, Finn, who am I missing? Braun Breaker, obviously. Who's the? Oh, Penta. That will be good.
Should be. That spear that Braun Breaker just delivered recently was it's a big one. It's a big one.
I think they give it to Dom.
They should. I don't think they're going to.
That would be amazing. Could you imagine? And especially if he pinned Penta.
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, pretty much if he pinned anybody except for Balor. I mean, if he even pins Braun, it would be bad too.
But my gosh, dude, if he wins, that place is going to be. They're going to lose their minds.
Him winning on night 1 and Charlotte winning on night 2. Ooh,
no, that
would be awesome.
They may have to repair some parts of Allegiant Stadium if that happens. And dude, I know it's one that not many people are talking about as of now, but I'm looking forward to AJ versus Logan Paul.
Oh, for sure. Logan Paul's super talented. Be
fantastic, and I gotta say, I like Logan's new finisher.
Oh yeah,
it's great good. Finisher.
Yeah, great. It's really good.
Now, granted, he did a great frog splash, but it was one of those things where
we see it all the time.
Yeah, we see it all the time, and when people kept kicking out of it, it's like okay, but that finisher, man, that is good, and I just. Dude, if he beats AJ too, God, that place is not going to be happy.
I think he's going to.
I think AJ would push for it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think he would.
I got to get Logan Paul a win here.
You think that opens one of the nights?
It's a lot of pressure to put on Logan Paul.
I think
the women might open both nights.
That's right, because we've got a couple of title matches. Well, that didn't matter last year because they put Io versus Bayley was that right before the tag match? Was that on night 1 or 2, Io versus Bayley?
I don't remember.
But I think it was the second to last match, I believe. But I think
Rhea versus Becky opened up night 1.
Okay.
And night 2, Seth versus Drew.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes, that did open up.
Bayley versus Io was right before Cody v. Roman.
Okay. That was a great match. Bayley, Io was a fantastic match. I think You're right, man. There are a lot of title matches. I don't know if it's going to open, but I mean,
women are at least opening one night.
Sure, but I'm just thinking in terms of I know it's a lot of pressure, but if you kind of think about it, it was a lot of pressure on Shane McMahon to open with AJ when they did years ago.
But he's a lifer.
But he's not a full timer.
Still a lifer though.
Yeah, I know, but
I don't think that Logan Paul even watched wrestling prior to.
Be that as it may, but whether you hate him, his antics, whatever the case may be, there is no denying the effort this guy puts into it.
Really good.
And he's really good, and he's obviously listens and practices and trains hard. And also too, I mean, yeah, not only does he put in the work in there, but obviously from just the outside business side of it, he's got the interest in it with the Prime deal, and which I don't think it's dude, they trusted him enough to main event a big Saudi Arabia show with Roman Reigns. I mean, I don't think the pressure will get to the guy. Because the way I look at it, I mean, okay, so what if he opens it? But I mean, I don't think at this point you're going to be, especially with the amount of people there, you're going to be hard pressed to have more pressure than that. Especially, and that was a year. That was with a year or two. Was that 2 years ago? That was 2 years ago.
39.
I mean, and that's 2 years worth. 2 years worth more. 2 years more worth of experience. Too, yeah. I think.
Well, I think more like 3 matches worth of experience. It's not like he's wrestling every week.
Yeah, but even when he's not doing it, I think it's fair to say he's constantly training.
Probably, but I mean, he has a lot of things on his plate, so
sure, and I don't think anybody would ever deny that. But yeah, but no, there's going to be some good matches. Have they officially announced? I'm assuming the tag team match for Raw or SmackDown anyways is going to end up being a ladder match. Have they confirmed that yet?
I don't think so.
Okay. But anyways, I'm just trying to think if there's, just to touch on it, if there's any other major matches we're missing here.
No, I think that's all that's confirmed.
Who do you think wins? You think there's any chance John Cena loses?
Yeah.
I don't
think he will, but is there a chance? Yeah. The chance is that they just don't want him to break the record.
I think there's a higher probability of me throwing up lobs to Wemby next season with the Spurs than
I thought that was a lock.
than John Cena losing.
Wemby's probably never going to play again anyway.
Don't do that to me.
Deep vein thrombosis.
Don't do that to me. Yeah, I don't think there's no way they do this heel turn and not put the title on him. None.
You wouldn't think. Good.
But the show better end with Stone Cold making The Rock do 30 backflips out of the ring.
That show might not end that way, but this one will. That was my Stone Cold theme song impersonation.
Wait, we didn't touch on what you wanted to hear.
Well, I forgot what it was.
Now, I remember. I told you I'd remember.
What was
it? You wanted to touch on the lack of NXT call-ups.
Yes. So, what are we doing? What is this backlog in NXT that they're just refusing to open the floodgates? They don't call up men ever, unless I guess it's at a draft. Braun debuted in February of 2024. Carmelo got drafted in April because remember Braun came a couple months before the draft, and then Carmelo came at the draft, drafted first. And I don't believe they've called up anybody since then. Have they?
I don't know if it's just the overall part of the company doing, or overall on part of the company doing. I know what I'm trying to say. It's just getting late. If they're all dedicating more time to longer term storytelling and they're waiting, like, okay, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it in the year, like throughout the year. It's going to be okay. You're showing up there either the Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania and then the draft, period. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but
there's no reason to go 12 months without calling somebody up. I don't care. Draft be damned. You need to call people up throughout the year, especially when some people aren't getting airtime.
I think you have
on NXT.
Yes. And I think, but they're kind of laying the ground. Okay, so like I told you, Stephanie Vakir gave up the North American title, saying, to give other women more opportunities, which kind of begs the question, well, why they
Give it to her in the
give it
first
to her
place.
to begin with. But and anyways, that's neither here nor there at this point. But I think it is a very real possibility because as of now, it looks like it's going to be Jada Parker versus Jordan Grace versus Julia versus Stephanie Vakir for the women's NXT championship. I think there's a very real possibility Jada Parker wins, and then all three of the other women will either be on SmackDown or Raw the following.
I don't see how they can do that. And they can't book the wrestlers they have. And I understand that this is completely contradictory to how I started this conversation. To bring them all at once is a little aggressive, especially since I'd say the average WWE viewer doesn't know who. I mean, they've heard of these women, but probably haven't seen a lot of their work. It's asking a lot to introduce all three at once.
I see that point. I do.
And then also,
just from a wrestling standpoint, they are ready right this second.
But they never need to be there in the first place. They never need to be there. From a wrestling standpoint, they never need to be there in the first place.
But that's always been a staple, though, man, of NXT is their strong women's division. It's been like that for a very long time.
Yeah, but most of their strong women's division were homegrown women. Charlotte, Bayley, Becky, these are homegrown women. And now these girls weren't. These girls came in as a name.
Sure. And now, and to further that point, now, Roxanne Perez is homegrown.
Yeah.
But Roxanne will be drafted, or she will be on Raw or SmackDown, which, what was up with that? It's like she was showing up on Raw and SmackDown. She was in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And then something else weird they did, man. So they had qualifying matches for this North American women's ladder match that they're going to have for the vacated title. And in the qualifying match, they had Kalani versus Roxanne, and they're talking about this is the only title that Roxanne has not won. It's like, oh, they're at least going to have her in the match. She lost. Clean. They had her lose clean to Kalani Jordan. Clean. And I was like, what? It's like, they're not even going to have Roxanne Perez at Stand and Deliver? Unless there's like a last chance match or something and she gets put into it, which I hope they do, but I just definitely missed opportunity there. I don't care if she loses, but because she's going to be on Raw or SmackDown the following week, but it's like, you got to at least have her on Stand and Deliver for her last time there.
Yeah.
But no, I see what you're saying about the homegrown thing, but I think part of it is just, they want to go there because of how strong the women's division is and how well they're treated too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them want to start there or want to start their WWE careers there.
I don't believe that.
For the women, now if you told me that for the men, I'd say no, I would agree. But no, for the women, I'm inclined to believe that I don't think it's blowing smoke when they say in wrestling they have the best top to bottom women's division on that show.
I don't either, but I still don't need to be there. That's only the case because the company refuses to bring these women up. That's the reason why. They wouldn't have the best top to bottom if Julia, Jordan Grace, and Stephanie Vakir were on the main roster. Then the main roster would. So that's the case because they're there. But that's going to be the case no matter where they go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like we need to start calling some of these people up throughout the year. It just, whenever you think that there's a definitive end to something, it always used to be, once you get to the definitive end, that means you're coming up to the main roster. And that just doesn't fit the case anymore. Trick Williams has been down there for what seems like 20 years.
That ain't been that long.
It seems like it's been a long time.
Yeah,
what more do they need to see from him? And I understand that it's probably because they have nothing for him creatively on the main roster. But when are you going to?
I felt like, and now I'm questioning whether or not he's going to get called up in this first batch of it or when it's going to be, because I feel like Trick Williams should definitively lose in a singles match, but it's Stand and Deliver. It's him, Oba, and Javon. And so it's not going to be a definitive loss to the champion.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man, but yeah, I'm with you, man. I would like to see more call-ups throughout the year, but just Vince wasn't around last year to make these call-up decisions, and they did it only the few times they did at the draft and right after Rollins or right after Mania. So I don't know what they're going to do. There's people, I think All Ego should be on Raw or SmackDown immediately following Stand and Deliver. I think he's going to be.
Yeah.
And I think Obafemi's going to be.
As you should be.
And there's some matches with Obafemi that I am looking forward to.
Oba versus Gunther.
I would like that, but I would really like to see versus Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, but I don't see them doing that anytime soon.
I don't either. I would still. That doesn't mean I still want to like to see it. But
yeah, that would be crazy.
Because Oba, he's not really a heel or a.
Well, we talked about this
baby
previously,
face.
that they want him to be a heel, but he just doesn't do anything heel.
He's
not a very good heel. He's a babyface.
I mean, he just comes out and kicks ass, but he doesn't pander to the crowd, really. I think he has before, but I think that was only like a promo or two.
Yeah.
But in terms of most of the time, it's just like, hey, I'm the ruler, I'm better than you, kind of thing.
But there's a menacing babyface of some sort.
Like to see him versus Braun Strowman.
Yeah, Braun's always hurt though.
Yeah. There's definitely some match. I mean, obviously the big guys too. I'd want to see like Roman and stuff like that. I know that's going to take time, but I'm looking forward to him being up there. But I think for sure Oba and who did I just say? Ethan Page. I think Oba and Ethan Page are two of the men that are definitely going to be on the main roster the following week.
Yeah.
But
somebody needs to be.
Yes, but I will let you go to sleep now. But I said I was going to remember what you said, and I did.
And you did. And that is going to wrap up episode 52 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. If you like what you heard, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time on the Golden Squeeze podcast. Oh. Yeah.
Josh's dad hit that like button on this video.